What's going on, Libra? My Libra collective. This is your burning questions spread. I feel like it's getting serious. I'm rolling up my sleeves. This is just an old comfy hoodie, so I wanted to throw it on because it's a little bit cooler here in the Northern Hemisphere, specifically Southern Ontario, which is like, what a nice winter we're having this spring at the moment. But your burning question spread, Libra, let's dive in. So the question that we're tackling today is, how can I rewrite this story? I love this question. We've gotten a ton of things. And by we, I mean my cat and I keep referring to this royal we in videos. But anyways, we're tackling this question in your best and highest good, and also to see what we come up with. So let's dive in, Libra. I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space, and I ask that it is a safe space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, let's do this, Libra. Let's do this. Let's go. I'm doing a reading from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. The link is in the description below if that is, if you are so inclined to take a look. Spirit, what have you got? Messages for my Libra collective here. My Libra creative collective. We're retelling stories. Milk and honey. I like this one. I just heard like cosmic picnic. Divine picnic. Oh, I love this card so much. Milk and honey. It's almost like that's what you're rewriting the story to. Like you're rewriting the story of what's possible. And if we do some number stuff here, some number magic, 5 and 1 is 6, which is the Lover's card in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. So that's kind of exciting. Yeah. Now the Lover's card was traditionally a choice card, but I just felt tapping on my back. That's weird. Well, not weird. I mean, it happens when Spirit's trying to get my attention, but maybe there's like, you're going to be, I'm like tapped on the shoulder. That was such a wild sensation. That's not happened that often before. That's wicked. Yeah, tapped on the shoulder. There's like something that you may not be paying attention to that's happening in the background. Libra, I'm not sure what's up here. What other messages do you have for my creative unfinished symphony for Libra? Unfinished symphony. Both of them? Okay. Fork in the road and mending. Interesting. So we have milk and honey, then we also have unfinished symphony, and in addition to that we also have fork in the road, and we also have mending right here. So that's pretty exciting. I feel like there's a shift going on here for you, Libra. A bit of a shift. I almost feel like there was something that you didn't really believe would or could happen for you. Unfinished symphony. Like it's like you had this, and I almost get like Neptune vibes off of this. Neptune. So it could be something to do with Neptune, or I'm getting more so Libra as like an octave of Venus. Like this was like your highest vision that you kind of kept to yourself about love, or things that you really held near and dear to you. And I think that there's some way that maybe it didn't come to fruition in the way that you had expected at the very least for a while. But that is shifting, I think. I'm getting that is shifting, but I definitely see Neptune here in that card for sure. This is also the 10 card in the traditional Rider-Waite is the wheel. I'm also getting this mending and fork in the road is like, I almost get like these are inner children, like the inner child of you, or a community that you belong to, or a group of people. And it's like you're healing yourselves together, Libra. Like you're healing yourselves together. You're mending that inner child together. This could be with someone that you're mending your inner children together. Maybe that's the unexpected piece. But I almost get that there's like the 5 and the 7. 5 and the 7, geez. 5 plus 2 is 7. That's the Chariot card in the traditional Rider-Waite. And then 13 is the Death card, Fork in the Road. Death card is 13, the number 13. whoops, if I can hold it. Number 13 here, it's the death card in the traditional tarot. So there's some major arcana kind of popping up here if we think about it in that way. And I think that this does have something to do with I almost get like this twist of fate that's transforming more than what you understand, Libra. This twist of fate that transforms more than you understand or know. So let's dive in and see. I am clarifying here with the Smith-Waite Tarot. Spirit, can I get some clarification here on this milk and honey, this beautiful vision that's coming together for Libra? I'll put these two together because they kind of flew out together. Maybe that's the sort of transition or transformation that you're not really seeing or fully understanding yet, is the way that this is going to come to fruition for you. Spirit, can I get some clarification on this milk and honey card, please? The world. Okay. Right out of the gate. Why not? This is Saturnian energy, but this is also fixed signs as well. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. And what I'm getting from this too is that there might be some fixed mindsets that are kind of standing between you and, this was that was a really not great shuffle. There are some fixed mindsets standing between you, Libra, and your happiness. And fixed mindsets can just be a story that we tell over and over, right? It can just be a story that we keep saying or talking about, or I think I'm hearing insisting upon as well. And we can insist upon it by investing energy in it. That's also an insistence of its own kind, right? So the World card. Saturn energy. Saturn's also 10th house in Capricorn. This could be something to do with career. Page of Swords. Page of Swords is also, it's like the messenger card, but it's also forward movement. Making sure that your 10 of Cups on the bottom, making sure that your words and actions align. And I say 10 of Cups because it was the milk and honey. And I think that's the vibe. Like that confirms that for me, that milk and honey is like a 10 of Cups essence. But the Page of Swords can be making sure that your actions and words are in alignment. But I think it can also represent messages that clear things up, or I'm hearing clear the air because of the rainbow here after a storm of some kind. The Emperor coming out with the Four of Swords. Yeah, there's definite ways that I think that there's you transformed in a way, Libra, and it's put you in this energy of a little bit of like, I'm hearing across the hall. So I know Aries and Libra are kind of like the how do I say this? They're the, astrological pair, so to speak, or zodiacal pair. But with this, I'm almost getting that this is like whatever this was, there was a sort of cycle that ended and you really allowed yourself to put an end to it. And when I say that, that sounds like, tell me something else, Captain Obvious. But what I mean when I say that, I know it's very sarcastic, but it went through my head. I was like, clarity, be clear. Come on. But what I'm seeing here is that there is something, you didn't just put an end to something, you also gave birth to something else within yourself. And I think that there's this 5D self that you have that's connected to this vision. And I'm hearing an elephant never forgets. And it's like that idea of your happiness being accessible to you in a way that you remember at a soul level. And I feel like there's something happening right now. And I don't do timing cards. I know some readers do, and I appreciate it when they do. So maybe I should look at doing that for these readings. But the intuitive sense that I get is that there's something happening like in the immediate, like it's happening either within you or it's already happened. And this is sort of you looking onwards and looking forwards. But this is really like this is to me showing up as a balance card. This is like the Emperor getting that 8 hours of sleep. This is the Emperor in the energy of leadership and authority, sincerity, maturity, decisiveness. Like the emperor knows what they want, and they go for that, right? And not without struggles along the way, not without difficulties, but like the whole journey isn't hard. The whole journey isn't like 10 of swords, right? Like there's not that sense of catastrophizing and worry, because the emperor is the person that you go to ask for advice. 1010 was just on the time. And so this is like, this to me speaks about you getting enough, not just getting sleep, but prioritizing a soul level rest for you, Libra, because what that's doing and has done, I think, is bringing in this clarity. And I think you're healing whatever it was. There was a story, this, I think of the Page of Swords too as a sort of a storyteller, or, I think of this in terms of the Page of Wands as well. And the pages bring messages. So I think of them as like very Mercury based, right? Mercury centric. And I'm thinking, when I see this, what goes through my head is that the story that you've been telling yourself is one that you're finally putting to rest. And you're really starting to replace it with this one of like loving choices that nurture yourself, milk and honey, loving choices that nurture yourself. The Four of Swords doesn't immediately strike most as nurturing energy, but I think that it is its own nurturing energy, but it's nurturing turned inward, right? Pentacle energy is like mommy energy, which sounds kind of like it. I don't like the connotation of, it's assumptions that we make about gender and women, that women are nurturing and men get to be leaders and like all of that stuff. But what I'm talking about here is like this visceral feeling you had when you were a kid of like wanting that rest, that like to be held, right? And I don't think that feeling ever really leaves us. I think that we shift in how we require it in our lives and what that means. And just sometimes we go from wanting to be held as young children to wanting to be beheld as adults and just seen for ourselves, right? And I think that that's what is now accessible to you in a way. And I think that the rewriting the story is connecting with, for you, Libra, this emperor energy within you. So I think it's like connecting with that within you. I do think that there's some potential love here. I don't know if this mending is an inner child of someone else that's coming together with yours in a friendship or like, sense or community. Excuse me. I don't know if it's in that sense or not, but what I'm seeing here is sort of really interesting energy coming forward. As I say forward, the Knight of Cups comes out on the Unfinished Symphony. So sorry about my voice there, Libra. It's cracking a little bit. The Unfinished Symphony card is coming out, and I get that the Knight of Cups is here, I think, to, let me pull the other ones. I have a couple ideas, but I'm being led to pause for a second, because there's a story. What went through my head is that there's a story, and what went through my heart is there's a story that's unfolding, and that we need to listen to. So, Three of Swords. Two of Cups. I'm hearing, I know what heartbreak feels like, but I'm still choosing to give a cup. King of Cups. Yeah. Five of Cups on the bottom. I know this is like, to me, so I have the Knight of Cups, the Three of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the King of Cups. And to me, this says that, I know what heartbreak has felt like. I've offered cups, and that's potentially this unfinished symphony. And it's like moving forward and believing in something bigger anyway, believing that it's possible again. And this is, to me, the Two of Cups I love because it's that equal partnership. It's equal. Like there's a sense of like, not like transaction, like you give this and I give this. I get this and you do this. It's not like that. To me, the Two of Cups represents someone willing to meet us where we are, and who also is willing to give of themselves without the expectation of things in return, which is really the ultimate in meeting someone where they are, right? Very much so. And then we have the King of Cups here as well. So just as a side note, what went through my head as I thought about that and equal partnership, there's a book by Chuck Spezzano. I think I have it on my shelf here. It's one of my favorite books of all time. Yeah, it's a used book. you see my ridiculous pants. But this book here, if you have not read this, I highly recommend it. It's out of print, so you might have to buy a used copy. Why am I bringing a book into a tarot reading? Well, and it remains one of my favorite books of all time. Like I read about a book a day when I'm in the swing of things, when I'm reading a lot more. So just know that kind of endorsement I don't take it lightly, but that book is a favorite because it talks about that, like meeting someone where they are and the ways that we can remove barriers to love and remove not just barriers to love, but like the way that we behave and welcome in love. The way that we behave in love, just the behavioral things around love are also part of how we do things in a broader sense too, with career, with friends, with that kind of, with just interpersonal dynamics in our lives. So what can end up happening is we get into situations where we're giving and giving and giving, and then we don't really get a whole lot back. And the Empress is popping out here on this mending and fork in the road, which is your card. A little bit of Venus energy here. So I do think if there's a story that's being rewritten, I think that it's important that you know that I'm hearing the pen is mightier than the sword. And then I'm hearing like there's like something about a sharp tongue. Maybe someone was like that with you, Libra. If they were, you definitely deserve something better than that. Oh my gosh. Acerbic is another word that just went through my head. Sometimes that Two of Cups can show up in terms of the ways that the things that we tolerate, and tolerate meaning that we realize them afterwards, perhaps. But the accountability piece is on us to say like this, it did hurt. And it wasn't okay. Like I found that sometimes people get really sarcastic and they call it a sense of humor. They call it bonding. And I'm all for sarcasm. Like I do dish it out a heavy amount, dollops at times, but it's never in a way that reduces people. It's never in a way that really reduces people. And I think that I'm just getting this impression that there was like this like verbal sparring that was initially like a back and forth. Like I'm seeing fencing, like back and forth, like these like two fencers back and forth in conversation though. And then I'm almost getting that one of them actually had a sword in hand and would cut quite deeply. So Libra, if that's your story, or if you had that experience, I'm very sorry, because words are very profound. Carefully choose them. Choose them very, very wisely, my friends. That's the shit you can't take back, right? And sometimes we don't want to. Like sometimes when it's good words, they're, why would you want to take them back, right? But then I think it's just understanding the shadow side of it. And that could be the unfinished symphony part, is just learning the words to other people's songs, but not having them learn the words to yours. Or even want to, is what just went through my head. I saw the music note here, and clairaudience for me is a big thing with music, and also just ear ringing and different things like that. So it could be that maybe you just didn't feel seen or heard in the way that you had hoped before, Libra. But the important part about retelling stories is, I think, to take stock of what happened, but not to commit it to memory. To take stock without committing it to memory. Because when we commit it to memory, we anchor the heightened, charged feeling, and we identify with the feeling, right? We identify with the feeling, which can get quite... it can just get to be quite... damaging, because we start to think that our feelings are who we are, and our feelings are part of that, our capacity to feel, yes, but when we identify exclusively with feelings, it leaves us in this position of not having a strong sense of self, and so boundaries can kind of run afoul of what we actually deserve. And we set up our own boundaries like this, right? So I don't know where all this is coming from. This is like when I go back and sometimes I've watched a couple of videos if there's been a profound response on the channel, which there has been. And I don't usually remember saying a lot of this stuff. So it's like it goes right in and out. So if it resonates, I'm so tremendously grateful for that. It's just the beauty of channeling, right? It's the beauty of it. Okay, Spirit, can you clarify this Empress card for me, please? I'm hearing pay attention to Neptune. So it's almost like this, I'm hearing that this is kind of going to be in conversation with Neptune here. This is going to be in conversation with Neptune. Nine of Swords. And I'm getting Neptune as representing like subconscious patterns or space within us, more than the sort of dreamy Piscean energy. Nine of Swords. Page of Pentacles. I'm hearing Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles, not in the sense of a lack mentality, but Five of Pentacles more so in the sense of fearing things that, like fearing poverty and loss more than actually losing. And I'm almost getting that with this here is like, there's like this fear of losing. So we're holding tightly. We're holding on tight. And Ten of Pentacles is like tremendous value. That's like the legacy that you're leaving behind. Like this isn't something that you invest in overnight and then it's just like bloop there, right? That's long term. What I'm thinking about here though more is what I'm hearing more so is that there's this feeling like, will it ever come? And this blanket has all of the signs on it, like the astrological signs on it. And I just heard under a blanket of stars, you'll get your wish. Under a blanket of stars, you'll get your wish. Libra, I don't know what that means. For someone, it might be relevant. Under a blanket of stars. Could be a song lyric or a book title. I don't know. Page of Pentacles, Five of Swords. Five of Cups. Seven of Pentacles. Okay, Spirit. What? Okay, Ace of Cups. That I feel like there's this sense of, I chuckle not, I just chuckle because I'm like, well, I mean, that's a lot of dense energy. Even the clouds are sharp. Like, the clouds that could be there on a peaceful day. It's like, doesn't loss and like, that sense of needing to win, doesn't it just do that to stuff around us though? Like to clouds, to the way we look at the world. Like, it's almost like seeing yourself as a loser here, but not as a loser, like, okay, thanks, Grandpa. My grandfather would often call people putz or schmuck. It's the teensy bit of Jewish. And it's just, that idea of like, well, I'm just a putz then. Like, it's that idea. I don't even know. To those who are deeply offended by those terms, I'm sorry. I've said worse on this channel. So clutch your pearls, friends. I think this is sort of like, what do you want to be? Like, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I think that there's a risk that you're going to have to take here. And I think that the risk isn't the same size. There's like a disproportionate worry to the actual action being taken here. There's a disproportionate worry that's kind of unfolding. And I think that what this is really inviting you to do is to see the way that this isn't very productive. Like this setup with this Five of Swords, like the worrying energy here is not productive. And I think it's like this Seven of Pentacles comes, and then you just like, that's the fork in the road. It's almost like the way I'm seeing it, I will show you here, my lovelies, is that these cards come out, and then the fork in the road here goes into the mending on top, and then the Ace of Cups comes out, just so that you can see what I see when I look at these cards. Ace of Cups comes out, the Sun and Hierophant too, like that's commitment, but commitment that's like a happy committed. It's also Taurian energy, which is equally so part of the Empress. Happy commitment, but also just like, I think I'm hearing the So Happy Together, that song, Imagine Me and You. I think it's by like the Turtles or something. It was a very cute movie too, though, so don't get me wrong. That movie was freaking adorable. Adorable. It had its moments, but Ace of Cups, the Magician. Yeah, this is definite. And of course the Star card would come out. Did any of the others flip in here? No. So I think that this is, I do feel like there's some inner child healing that's taking place. And then we have the Fool on the bottom. Are you kidding me? So this to me does seem like you're rewriting a story either with your inner child, or there's a community around you that is really helping to make that happen for you. And I think this could just be your inner child playing with that of other people's in a more playful and constructive way, instead of a Nine of Wands way that was very guarded, right? And the Ace of Cups, the Magician, the Star, and the Fool is, I think this is almost like you taking a chance on love, or something that you love, or something loving that you didn't think would potentially love you back. And this can just be with people, like I've experienced it where I've done things and in terms of jobs and whatnot, where I'm like, oh, like I really thought that whole entire field of work would love me as much as I loved it. And it's not that it didn't love me back. It's just that I had expectations of it to do specific things and to mean specific things. And it's not the things that you don't do things to get in return, if that makes any sense. And it's recognizing what it was about that work that really lit me up, and what it was about, all of that stuff. And it's almost like that's this recognition that takes place here. Like you're like, oh, that Page of Pentacles, that's the thing that I love to do. That's the thing that meant the world to me. That's the part of it. And then you're like, oh, okay, got it. And then you sort of change course, fork in the road. And then I think it's almost like this mending comes, and it's like I'm getting the impression that I'm hearing you don't come prepared for the love that you find. You don't come prepared for the love that you find. So I almost feel like it wasn't something that was expected. Six of Wands here. So that, to me, that is like a sense of success in this situation, whatever that means for you, right? Like this is the story that you're rewriting here. And I'm feeling like this is love related, love centric. I'm not sure. I think that this is more about your healing. Love centricism in this case, it's not an actual term at all, but I think that centrality of love is more a feature of the story as opposed to the whole story, if that makes any sense, my dear Librans, because I think you are the story here. Page of Wands, yeah. Page of Wands, Page of Cups. Yeah, I think that this is you really stepping into your power. But again, a lot of these readings have been just baby steps. So one step at a time, number one. Number two, the other thing that I keep getting from these readings is that all it takes is just a little bit of belief on your part, and let the universe do the rest. Just a fraction, just a tiny bit, just like this much, just this much. It doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be like the most Herculean, gargantuan effort that you've ever put forth. But I think this page is here to say just a tiny bit is really all that you need, and that the universe will take care of the rest. Because I get the Fool, the Star, the Magician, and the Ace of Cups as being like the universe saying, oh, that's cute, but I've got this. Thanks. Thanks for showing up to a bonfire with a match. Right? Like that kind of idea. Like, thanks for showing up to an already roaring bonfire with a tiny match. And I think that's what this Page of Wands is really here to kind of echo to you, Libra. So this is actually quite beautiful. I think there's just a tiny bit of trust, little bit of trust. I'm going to pull from the Miracles Now deck. Spirit, can I get some messages for my Librans for their burning question of rewriting this story? How can they rewrite this story? Just some final messages for them here, please, and thank you so much. Ooh. Okay. I share my light with the world. Yes, you do. And I think that has something to do with the mending and the milk and honey. Sometimes you shine because you intend to, but then other times you shine just by being yourself. And Libra, I think that that's what you're doing, is you're shining by being yourself. And I think we're all better off for it. And that's where it's like you're stepping into this emperor energy of, you're shining by being yourself. And it's making all of us a little bit more secure and stable on this planet, if that makes any sense. Because it's giving us a reminder, too, that as much as it reminds you, it's reminding us at the same time of everything that's possible, right? Spirit, can I get some additional messages here for my Librans? Thank you so much. Happiness is a choice I make. Yes, it is. It is a choice you make. And I think that that's really this decision to focus, this decision to refocus, the fork in the road here, but also this sort of, I've been hurt before, but I am actively choosing, even though it feels like this, this subconscious decision or subconscious energy here with this Neptune vibe, this Neptunian vibe, that it's like there's something that makes you want to hold back, but you're, feeling the fear and kind of leaping in anyway. You're embracing things anyway. You are, it's like emotional maturity, but also an emotional awareness, self-awareness that you have. I'm going to pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection, that deck by Mike Dooley, that beautiful deck. Spirit, can I get some final messages for my Librans? We're rewriting our story. How are we doing this here? How are we doing this, and how are we doing with this? Messages of love and healing, please. Okay. All three of them? Okay. So this card came out for another one. I can't remember which sign. Anyways, so things are about to get really juicy. I just love this card because of the stars in the background, but also the heart in there, if you see behind. So things are about to get really juicy. A little heads up on an addiction that afflicts all really old souls. Giving love eventually becomes an even greater need than receiving love. See, you're not strange. Love the universe. That is lovely. Love is the reason. Love is the reason. Each person in your life is there for a reason, and that reason always has something to do with love. Like me, the universe. Love is the reason. I'm almost getting this storyline here. Things are about to get really juicy, and love is the reason. That's the title of this reading, for sure. Oh my gosh. No two flowers are the same, yet all are beautiful in their own way. No two flowers are the same, yet all are beautiful in their own way. Comparisons are odious because they presume all other things are equal, which is never the case. Between me and you, the universe. No two flowers are the same, yet all are beautiful in their own way. And I'm almost getting this like Two of Cups mending energy. No two flowers are the same. And it's like I'm hearing like finding something. Like you're feeling like you found something. And like obviously that's how we feel when we find people in this energy. But like, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? Yeah. This is quite lovely, Libra. Did you know that just by shining, all of us benefit? Did you know that? Did you know? I think that you needed to. Maybe. 3333 on the time. So I'm going to leave it here, Libra. If this resonated, please like and subscribe. It so pleases me to see this channel grow, and that's what it helps me to do. It helps me to get found in the YouTube algorithm. It just helps me to know that this resonates for you, and I am so grateful to be able to provide value in this way and just to give, to give information and guidance here. So I am very grateful for that, and for your eyes, your energy, and your time, my darling Librans. So there are other ways you can connect with me on the channel, so do check that out. But if this is where we part, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful morning, afternoon, or night, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum. Take care.